I gotta fix it. I gotta fix it. Okay, wait a minute. It's going live now, Jesus. Oh, my work information. I don't want nobody to see none of my shit. Tammy, nah, child. Y'all can't see none of Tammy's stuff. Okay, so go to the other side. So we should be live in a few minutes. So I guess I could share. I don't have access to the account. Who is I Bravey on? Okay, tell her to share. Honey, I can see you. Thank you, darling. No, you're fine because you fine, honey. I mean, like you literally fine. You my baby. I'm not gonna turn my damn camera off. Like I don't hardly ever go live. Like I ain't scared.
Edit your camera so it's only on you.
It is on me, baby.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to get it fixed, okay, honey? It is on me. Camera's on me, honey. Camera's on me. So, and my little lights. I don't know why it's doing that. There it is. All right. So comments. Hey, observing stuff. Hi, darling. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome, 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 welcome. Just a subscriber. Hi, honey. Welcome, guys. Okay, so I need the person that runs pretty much like do all the sharing and stuff in my channel. Please share this because for some reason I don't think I can share it no more. Like, child, I don't be doing nothing on this channel. So yeah, hold on. I gotta. The girl gotta fix the unit, honey. So hey guys, welcome to. Oh, sis. My sis do not want to be on the camera. I got you, babe. Oh, you still on there? She said, "Hell no, baby." I'm sorry. There you go. You back in here again. You're in it again. Like, damn. Like, y'all, I didn't have time to set it up. Oh, you need to go over there. You're in the camera. Girl, you're in the camera, your whole potato head. Okay, so she's in the camera. I'm on mute. Yeah. Hey, guys. Hey, Miss TT. Hi, baby. Hi, honeys. Hi, my babies. Hey, first off, before we get started, it is National World AIDS Day, and I just want to share my baby Nilla Bean. Y'all look at her. She's got blue eyes. This is Nilla Bean. Say hi. And yes, Charlotte is jealous as hell. Hi, 504, my sister. So, yes, so I don't have the Google speaker with me tonight, but I have little Nilla Bean. And I have, one of my closest, dearest little sweetheart friends, Oline. Everybody y'all can call her Miss O. She comes in. TT, hello, baby, hello. Everybody share the live. This is an important live. This live is, oh Lord, I don't want nobody to get my information. Let me take this down because y'all know I'm a whole businesswoman now. So let me just take that down because now y'all ain't gonna be playing games with my money. Anyways, but oh my God, Miss TT, are you still in Chicago, girl? You know, I'm supposed to be in Chicago this Sunday, but I can't because I have to do something here in Fort Wayne. So welcome to everybody that's coming in. Can you guys hear me okay? Please share the live. This is a live to celebrate all our brothers and sisters regarding of your color and creed, nationality, whatever. And even those that don't have or have been stricken with the virus, HIV and AIDS. And for my people that know me, you know this is a subject that's dear to my heart. A lot of people don't know because one, I don't talk about it. Um, you didn't get that from me yet. Okay, sis. Okay, so first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop the link because I want any and every person that would like to come in and join me on the panel and share your thoughts on our topic. Okay. So hold on, guys. I hope I did that right. Let's see. Wait a minute. I got to copy. Copy. Okay. So here we go. You move, baby. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, teach. Yeah. Like I'm kind of like a little salty. Y'all need to like reach out to your Mediva because I'm here, honey. I just feel like it's all about making that moolah and connections and stuff. So, anyways, let me go ahead and put that in here. But before anybody comes up on the panel and stuff like that, and we get this started, because we really got to hurry up because I heard that our sister Lady La has a live scheduled for 9:45, and I really don't want to, I want to be in there. So I don't, it is what it is. We're gonna do what we got to do over here, and if we need to come back, we will. Okay. This is my lookout for my office, and I will tell you, I have stuff up here, but because there's a lot of nosy MFers on YouTube that are just vicious, hateful, and ain't got nothing to do but to try to destroy somebody's life, you're going to destroy mine because everything negative that happened to Mediva, or so people thought that was negative, that happened to Mediva in 2019 and 2020, or 2020, honey, guess what? It was a blessing because that is why you do not see me as a presence, or that I am not on YouTube like I once was. And I am very thankful. Thank you for my position. Yes, that's all I want to say to all those haters. Child, thank you for my position because you put me there. Yes, you did. Okay, so with all the stupid petty stuff. So a lot of people don't know that my mother, Lord rest her soul, my mother died being one that had AIDS. My mother contracted AIDS from her brother, who's also deceased, her younger brother. They shared a needle. My mother was addicted to speedballing. So, it was like a mix of, I guess what I've learned is they said that's like pills and stuff. My mother was a nurse. So, needless to say, hi, love, my love. Needless to say, that was my mother's story. She was a functioning addict, and her circumstance was that she contracted HIV, and it was only because of a needle. Um, it wasn't sexual, because, honey, anybody who thinks that you can only get AIDS or HIV through sexual intercourse, you are so wrong because there are a lot of children. Hi, Lady Law Sister. Hello. Thank you for showing up. Okay, we got E Love up in the building. E Love, I'm gonna let you up in just a second, but I just want to finish this little quick story, sister. I'm gonna let you up, so make sure you mute. But
Okay.
you up here. You up here, baby. You up here. But I just want to share this, saluting my mother and giving her the light and love and the honor that, even though she's gone, my mother died in 2020, and it was not due to complications to having full blown AIDS. And I just want to tell you, my mom had full blown AIDS for 16 years. And she was and then people are going to hate to hear this word, she was barely non traceable, which is asymptomatic. She did not have to take the medication for having this god awful disease. And I'm not ashamed of it. I am proud of who my mother was. My mother also, before she left and went to glory, my mother, she was clean for 16 or 17 full years. Okay. It was a blessing within itself. So, there's a lot of myths and misconceptions due to, one who would have AIDS or HIV. There's a big difference, for one, between having HIV and AIDS. But I want to say to anybody in earshot, hi, Nissa, baby, hello, hello. I just want to say to anyone, and y'all please share this. It's not going to be long because, like I said, Lady Law has a live planned, and we will be smoothly moving over because this AIDS national it's World AIDS Day, and we are going to talk about it. Here go my sister 504. Hey, baby. So we're gonna talk about it, and I won't be doing a lot of talking, so that's why I wanted to share with you guys real quick. My experiences with the fact that my birth mother, my mom, she contracted it and how she contracted it, and being that she was a nurse and it was from her baby brother. Sometimes you can let your guard down and like whatever. I don't know what my mom's was due to sharing a needle with her baby brother. I don't know what the reason. My mom knew, like, she was a nurse, she knew better than to do such a thing. But at the time, I know that when an addiction has you, and this is from her words, what she told me, when an addiction has you, you throw caution to the wind. And being that she was the mother of 4 children, like I said, she was a functioning addict. um, She threw caution to the wind and she paid for it. But like I said, that is not what took her from us. That's not what took her from us. Okay. She had a good life. She lived a good life. She lived a healthy life. Believe it or not, you can live a healthy life once that disease progresses from HIV to AIDS, but you still have a responsibility. And I remember one of the last conversations, and I'm going to end this. One of the last conversations I had with my mom was that she told me, she said, Tammy Terrell, I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. I'll never marry again. I'll never have that intimate, hi Indigo, my love, I'll never have that intimate relationship with another man. One, my mother respected the next human being, and no matter what they say about this is that and the other, it was her own personal preference. And remember, mom's been gone for now 2 years, just 2022 going into 2023, but she gave all that up and accepted the fact that she put herself first. I got to live. I got to live healthy. I got to be clean. And right now, having that love or that life is not in the cards for me. But I remember her saying it, and I remember telling her, I was like, Mama, I was like, this is not the end. I was like, you peaches, you can have or you can find intimacy with that special man without, being, sexual with them, and that was kind of crazy, being that I was in my early 30s and having to hear my mom's the things that she was worried about. So there's a lot of things that people, that are diagnosed with HIV and then have AIDS, hey Kayla, sweetheart, they have had to deal with those very situations. And I'll ask anybody being in the position that I was in as a daughter or a mother or even as a friend, just be there for them. Don't condemn them because they already know what this illness. Hi, Mish, my love. They already know what this illness
Hey, Madiva.
is with. So I'm gonna stop talking, but I wanted to share that with y'all. Now take that and let's let it sink in or whatever, because I am the daughter of someone that made that mistake, threw caution to the wind, and she contracted HIV and lived with AIDS for 16 or 17 years. She did not die of complications from AIDS. So there ain't no embarrassments, nothing here. I'm saluting my mother and every other sister and brother that has accepted this and that they have embraced it and they are living with it and they are doing what they need to do to protect themselves and the next person. So, hey, everybody that's coming up in here, y'all can go ahead and talk. I'm just here to narrate, honey. Hey, everybody. Y'all can unmute.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Hey, family. Hey, everybody. I see La
Good
Nation.
evening.
I'm on mute while you
I see
anybody that wants to talk.
I see La Nation. I see Trillville. I see Observing. I see Neighbors. Thank y'all so much for joining. I would like to say thank you to my good sister Mediva and my good sister Mish. This is our home base channel. So, of course, we were going to do something on this topic here on this page. Anybody that wants to use it, with the exception of a few people that Mediva has already expressed, can feel free to either share or use different pieces from this. I'm glad you're back, Sissy. Well, let me just start off by saying that today is World AIDS Day. And World AIDS Day has been held every year since 1988. And it's an important day for us to reflect on those we've lost to the HIV epidemic and to recommit to the hard work of ending this epidemic and this disease. We all know of the medical interventions that are needed to end the HIV epidemic, and it's not some magical formula or plan. It's simple as testing, prevention, and treatment. And these things can work, but the epidemic rages on, and I'm sure you may question yourself as to why is that. One of the key ingredients missing is equity. According to the Centers for Disease Control, health equity is achieved when every person has the opportunity to attain his or her full health potential, and no one is disadvantaged from achieving this potential because every social position or other socially determined circumstances. A lot of the times in our marginalized communities, specifically of Black and Brown people, having quality access to healthcare is sometimes not as equal as our Caucasian, Asian counterparts. And that's due to our economic and social status within our community sometimes. And also, the lack of equity is a direct result of a deadly mix of racism, classism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, whorephobia, which is sex workers, stigmas around sex, drug use, and more. And these symptoms of oppression erect a significant barrier to HIV testing, prevention, and treatment. And if we're to have any hope whatsoever in ending the HIV epidemic, we must put a significant effort into dismantling the systems of oppression and building up equity.
Amen. That's a fact.
This year's slogan is called Equalize, and it is a call to action. It is a prompt for all of us who work for the proven practical actions needed to address the inequalities and help end AIDS. And a lot of those equalities include, or what we need to change is increase availability, quality, and suitability of services for HIV treatment, testing, prevention, so that everyone is well served. Reform laws, policies, and practices to tackle the stigma and exclusion faced by people living with HIV by key and marginalized populations so that everyone is shown respect and is welcomed. Ensure the sharing of technology to enable equal access to the best HIV sciences between communities between the global South and North. And communities will be able to make use of and adapt the equalized message to highlight the particular inequalities that they face to press for the actions needed to address them. The reason why we have AIDS Awareness Day is because it's essential to ending the epidemic. It was once an unmanageable chronic condition, but now with advances in HIV prevention, diagnosis, management, and care, including opportunistic infections, to which two opportunistic infections are like pneumonia or tuberculosis, people with HIV can live long, healthy lives. In 2021, here's some ma'am?
I'm sorry. I was like, amen to that. Yes. It's a game changer now.
Yes.
Between from 1988 to now, it's a game changer. You don't see those on the beds like you did back in the day. Like y'all remember those horror stories? You remember those documentaries? There was one lawyer in Philly who contracted AIDS. Like it was horrific what he went through. So we've come a long way, baby, from those days.
Right. Um, in 2021, because I do have some stats for y'all as well. In 2021, nearly 85% of consumers, because they used to call us patients with stigmatizing language, we have now become called consumers. So in 2021, nearly 85% of consumers knew their HIV status entirely. At the end of 2021, 75% of people had access to antiretroviral therapy, ARTs for short, and 81% of pregnant people who had HIV had access to ARTs to prevent transmitting to their babies during pregnancy and childbirth. So we have definitely made big strides forward from the beginning of when HIV and AIDS first came around. It estimates that 4.4 to and 3.9 per 100,000 people with new HIV diagnoses and AIDS-related deaths are lower than they were in 2021. And they expect to be even lower than that by 2025, and respectively followed by a 90% reduction in both by 2030. In 2019, there were approximately 1.2 million people living with HIV. In the same year, there were 38,000 new diagnoses in the United States, which represented an 8% decrease since 2015. It was also estimated that 1 in 8 people living with HIV did not know that they even had it. 66% of people living with HIV receive some sort of HIV care. 50% of that 66 retained care, and 56% of that 66 were virally suppressed, which means that their viral loads were so low that they were undetectable.
Can I ask you a question? So just
Yes.
to clarify, because like when I say asymptomatic, that's like when like with my mother's situation, her viral detection was so low. It was like she never even had to take medication for the HIV, and she had full blown.
Some people's bodies, believe it or not, can basically stabilize on their own. Because my body actually stabilized on its own, and I remained undetectable from 2007, I want to say, up until maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when my doctor suggested that I go ahead and start ARTs anyway, but that's because of another underlying medical issue that I have that will also throw my numbers off. So it is possible that some people bodies balance out on their own and they don't necessarily have to take ARTs. Is that something that I would suggest people to do? No. I think for the betterment and to make sure that we can end this epidemic, it is in your best interest to start ARTs as soon as possible to keep yourself virally suppressed.
Okay, I want to just jump in real quick about something else that like I'm relying off of, my interaction with my mother when I had to take her to her doctor's appointments in Toledo, Ohio, when she lived with me. So one of the things, my mother was never a very big woman, but my mom, the moment when she got really sick one time and she had jaundice, she turned up, like her eyes was like, we thought she was going to make it. And this was probably like maybe 5 years before she died. And what had happened was a doctor had decided to have her start the regimen of taking the medication. her viral load was still extremely low. But when she took the medication, she got worse. When she started losing weight, she could not sustain, her weight, and then like she swelled up, and so they after documenting this, or like watching it for a few months and stuff, they found out that it was just best for her not to be on medication. She wasn't sexually active. She was not drinking, doing drugs, or anything like that to lower her immune system. We were very careful, as far as with anything with her, we went the homeopathic way. And I think people know that like works too. But that old thing with losing weight or being like skin and bones, that's not necessary. Like even that model, hygiene model, same thing, kind of sort of what happened to my mom happened to her, and now she's getting back up into her weight thingy. It doesn't, like sometimes. I mean, I feel like that's a misconception that people have, that people, have automatic side effects or being like super skinny, skin and bones, like back in the day. I'm gonna shut up. Let me know what I thought.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Some older HIV medications cause what is known as wasting,
So
which is
that
when
is the medication. Oh, okay. Just one.
it's some of
Yeah,
the
it's the
old
medicine.
it's the older medications that cause wasting, which is where you lose a significant amount of weight very, very fast. If anybody is familiar with the IG model, Gina 2, she experienced wasting, which is why she lost weight so fast because okay, a lot of people think, how could she have not known that she had AIDS for all of these years? It is possible. An HIV test is not standard blood work. You have to ask to have an HIV test done. So if you go in and you ask for an STI panel, they're going to test you for everything else. Gonorrhea, syphilis, trichomonas. They're going to test you for all of that. If you don't specifically say add an HIV test, they will not test you for that. That's one of the laws that we're working on right now, that, to make a HIV test part of a standard STI, sexually transmitted panel, infection panel. And it can lay dormant for up to 10 years. And that's what happened with her. She was going to the doctor, but they weren't testing her for HIV because it was nothing that she thought about asking, that she needed to have that blood test drawn. So,
Correct. Can I say something real quick? That was
yes.
the thing what Lady Law said. That is definitely a fact. It does absolutely lay dormant for up to 10 years. My mother knew the exact day. She knew when she contracted HIV. She shared that needle with her baby brother. Okay. And it was well over 10 years when she was diagnosed with having HIV. And I'm gonna let you talk. I'm sorry, sis. Hang on. Took my camera off.
Oh, no. You're fine. You're fine.
Hey, God, mama.
Can somebody zap the bot, please? So because they didn't test her specifically for that, is why it took so long before they did a full extensive panel on her, ruled out everything they could possibly think of: cancers, leukemias, kidney diseases, lung issues, and they finally decided to test her for HIV, which is how her test came back, that her viral load was so high that she was actually in AIDS range. The difference between AIDS and HIV is basically a number game. Your viral load is the number of copies of HIV within your system. If it's below 200, you're what is known as virally suppressed, which is undetectable. So if you take a test, it's possible, like Medina was saying, as far as her mother and with myself, when I go get tested, my copies are so low, it's almost like I don't have it. Hers was so high because she never got tested. So she was actually in full-blown AIDS when she got diagnosed. The only difference between being HIV positive and having a diagnosis of AIDS is one number. If your viral load drops below 200, if it goes to 199, your diagnosis changes from HIV to AIDS. And clinically, once you take your medicine and you get your numbers back up, your clinical diagnosis changes. So if you go in somewhere and they say, are you HIV positive? You have to say, no, I have AIDS. Because your clinical diagnosis has changed. So
I'm here. I'm smoking. You know, I can't smoke inside my house, but I'm here. I got the other device. Hey, Salt. Hey,
Yeah, I was
Faith.
just letting you finish with your presentation,
Yes,
Sissy.
me too, because we
So
don't want to Lady Laws live. That's fact. But we want to dispel some misconceptions because the worst thing is having someone with a flag and banner running around doing the wrong thing because you never know who just got that test back. And what
right.
we're doing tonight is celebrating those that have superseded, you know, these naysayers or the false notions of it being a death sentence when you are diagnosed. No, I don't have it, but I will tell you this: my mother, it was everything, and she lived good. You know, she took accountability. You know, so it is what it is. Hey, everybody, I'm smoking. I know I can't smoke in my house, but go ahead, guys.
Okay, so in 2019, there were approximately 1.2 million people living with HIV in the United States. There were 34,800 new infections, which represented an 8% decrease since 2015. An estimated 1 in 8 people living with HIV in the United States didn't even know that they had it. So when you look at the numbers are actually coming down because more people are being educated, because more people are being tested. And the main thing that you have to do is continuously, take the time, like I said, to make sure when you go in to get blood work done, ask for an HIV panel. In 2016, there were 1.1 million people in the United States who were eligible for PrEP, which is pre-exposure medication. So they have something which is called a magnetic couple, where one person is positive, one person is negative. So the person that's negative would be asked to get on PrEP, which is an HIV antiretroviral medication, but it will prevent them from contracting HIV from their positive partner. And it was also, out of all those 1.1 million people who were eligible for PrEP, only 78,360 of those people actually filled their prescription for PrEP. There's also PEP, which is post-exposure. So let's say, for example, you have sex with someone, you didn't know that they were HIV positive, or you were at you may be a sex worker, or a person that's addicted to drugs, or any type of situation where you may have to have a sexual experience with someone to, let's say, feed yourself, or pay a bill, or maybe even to get your medications. You can get on PEP, which is also a medication that will help suppress you contracting HIV. So there are a lot of different strides and advancements in HIV prevention and care that is making it less possible for you to end up contracting HIV outside of the normal, making sure that you use some sort of protection. So now what I want to do, I want to specifically talk about Black Americans first as a whole. I'm going to speak about women, and then I'm going to speak about the youth, because believe it or not, the youth are at a very high risk for contracting HIV right now. So Black Americans in this country, we already deal with structural racism and inequality that impacts every aspect of our lives, from economic stability, education, housing, food security, and healthcare. All of those things together leave individuals at an increased risk and make them less likely to receive care that they need. In 2018, Black people made up 13% of the population, but accounted for 42% of new HIV diagnoses. In 2018, there was an estimated 40% of people living with HIV in the U.S. were Black Americans. In 2019, we had the highest rate of new HIV diagnoses at 45 diagnoses per 100,000 people, which was more than 8.5 times the rate for Caucasian Americans. Among the PrEP medicine users in 2016, for whom the race ethnicity data were available, only about 11% were Black American, compared to 69% who were Caucasian Americans. Every 100 Black Americans living with HIV, 63 received some care, 48 retained care, and 51 were virally suppressed. In comparison, for every 100 people of all races living with HIV. So Black Americans account for nearly half of the new HIV diagnoses that were put up, that came in 2018. When it comes specifically to Black women, Black and brown women, 1 in 5 people living with HIV were either Black or brown women. Biological factors: heterosexual sex is more likely to transmit HIV to a woman from her male partner, vice versa. And social factors, including gender discrimination and barriers to accessing reproductive health care, put women at an increased risk for HIV. In addition, women are more likely to experience IPV, which is inter-partner violence, which increases their HIV risk even more. Women of color are more further disproportionately impacted by HIV, as they experience stigma and discrimination based on both gender and race. So in 2018, 19% of new HIV diagnoses were women. The majority of new diagnoses among Black and brown women, 85% in 2018, were attributed to heterosexual sex, while another 15% were attributed to drug use. For every 100 women diagnosed in the with HIV in the United States, the numbers still remain basically the same. 76 received care, some care, 58 stayed in care, 63 were violently suppressed. Black American women only make up 13% of the U.S. female population, but is accounted for over half, 58% of new diagnoses among women, in comparison to Caucasian women, which was 21%, and Latina women, which is 17% in 2018. According to data from 2010 to 2014, the likelihood of a woman in the United States being diagnosed with HIV over the course of her lifetime is significantly higher for Black and brown women. 1 in 54 for Black and brown women, and 1 in 941 for Caucasian women. According to the CDC, only 7% of women in the United States will benefit from PrEP, the pre-exposure medications that were prescribed in the prevention regimen in 2018. So according to the statistics, Black American women, 57%, Caucasian Americans, 21%, Hispanic or Latina Americans, 18%, and other is 5%. So when it comes down to us and our communities being marginalized, low income, not the best housing, not having access to certain health care, even as far as right now to the abortion rights, that could put a woman in a position where she may have been in an interpartner violence relationship with a positive partner. She's now positive herself and pregnant. Even though that there are medications that she can take to prevent passing the transmitting the disease to her child throughout pregnancy or through childbirth, what if that woman wanted to make that decision not to have that child?
Hey,
That's a healthcare issue.
That's definitely a discussion for us to have, because with the in lieu of the recent abortion situation, I didn't even think about that. Wow. Sorry.
Now let's talk about these teenagers, these young people that we have around us. Because when I give you these numbers of the highest people at risk when it comes to youth, you may be surprised. Young people ages 13 to 24 are among those most at risk for HIV as a result of numerous social, biological, and behavioral factors. 13 to 24. In 2008, prevalence data suggests that half of new sexually transmitted infections occur in young people ages 15 to 24, and having certain kinds of STIs can increase the risk of acquiring HIV. Young people also have difficulty gaining access to HIV testing, treatment, and prevention for HIV and other STIs because of lack of transportation, inability to pay, privacy concerns. It could be a copay issue where this child is on their parents' insurance, so they don't want their parent to know, so they don't get in care. It's a lot of different factors. So in 2018, 21% of new HIV diagnoses were among young people 13 to 24. Most HIV diagnoses among youth, 92%, were among young men, which is males who have sex with males, even though it's still highest in black females. Young people are less likely to know their HIV status. As of 2018, for every 100 young people living with HIV in the United States, only 55 of them knew their status. So it's still more than half who do not know that their status. For every 100 young people diagnosed, 79% receive some care, 58 retained in care, and 60 were virally suppressed. The second highest rate for HIV transmissions is definitely in the South. And that is largely because we're driven by poverty, racism, and lack of access to quality health care. The South has the highest poverty rate, the lowest median household income, and the greatest percentage of uninsured people in the United States. Yet there are few people in the South who are aware that they have HIV, which means they do not have access to care or reach virus suppression. In addition to that, non-urban areas in the South, which is like the rural areas and the suburbs, are bearing the brunt of the nation's opioid crisis, which also puts residents at risk for HIV. You have any input, Diva?
Know, you want to know if I have any input? Y'all are aware I have my youngest child. He's 17, and unfortunately, he is now sexually active. He's not going around and doing all kind of crazy stuff. And I like to think that my husband and I taught him well and informed him well, being that, like I said, even though my mother's getting the virus had nothing to do with sex, it's very, very scary to know that within our youth, and because of these misconceptions of knowing of like knowing what to do and not going to get tested, not knowing about your partner, it is like that. This is very scary. I did not know that was the stats for our youth. And like I said, being that my son has joined that club of being sexually active at 17, it's scary. And I just really hope that what my husband and I have taught him, to always have self-respect and put himself first, and to know his partner. Oh wow, we really hope he utilizes that. That's very scary. So yeah, that is the only thing I'm interested in. So,
The next highest rate is actually women over 50.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, after the youth from 13 to 24 is women over 50. Women who are getting back into the dating scene. A lot of times men don't like to go to hospitals. They sleeping with some of these young women in that 18 to 35 range who may not know their status.
Because I'm not doing it. If it's women over 50, if Shady was ever with me,
they're messing with these young girls, and then they're dating women within our age range.
What?
So after 18, so after 18 to 24, the next highest risk age range is women over 50.
And another reason for that.
I am not being animated because it's going to be silly. I literally, like, for real, I had no clue that that we would even, fall in that category to be in that stats, because you would think that women that are 50 and older would be more cautious and be more body aware. But like, what is it? Why is that? Is that because of maybe the
You want me
partner?
to give you
Yes,
insight to
please,
what it
please,
is?
please. Yes, please. And I'm gonna mute.
Part
Hey,
of
observing stuff. I'm gonna highlight that, honey.
part of the insight onto why the rates are so high in the older population of 50 and above, like 504 girl said, it's a lot of men that they're just getting back out there in the dating scene. It's a lot of those men that are going around sleeping with those younger women. And also because women in their 50s, by that time they're no longer in their childbearing years. So they feel they don't have to use condoms for protection. Because think about it, what are you taught? Condoms prevent pregnancy mostly. So they're sleeping with these older men and sleeping with these older women, and these younger women, and you're not using protection. And the young
Wow.
generation is very, very careless.
Wow, that's cray cray. Oh wow, that's cray cray. And you know what? Unfortunately, we just don't have enough time in this live stream to really get into it, because this is definitely, I want to go a little deeper into this. But Lady Law has a live that's scheduled at 9:45, and guys, we are 50 minutes into it. Into this live stream, and I actually want to go over there. I'm gonna sit right here, and I might join the panel. Because this is it this she's doing, she's also doing something for World AIDS Day. And the thing is, unfortunately, there's just a lot of
Medita,
hateful. Yeah.
Lady La says she pushed it to 10. She says she's still
Oh,
here.
I didn't know. I wanted to be respectful,
Thank you,
but I
Lady
see
La.
over there. So thank you so much,
Thank you,
Lady.
La.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much. But yes, we do appreciate you. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk, girl. Okay. So yeah, but we still going over there, girl. So what time she push it back to?
She
So we
said 10.
okay, so we'll be there. We got 7 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
And she said they noticed she'll be a little bit late.
Okay. We appreciate you so much, because this is very important to 504, to a lot of individuals that know people, and also to me. Like I said, my mother um, was diagnosed with, and she had full blown AIDS. So this is important. They
Yeah.
don't just stop because they're dead. Okay.
No, and remember also to me,
Amen.
my dad passed to AIDS.
Amen. Go ahead. I'm gonna show.
Well, no, that was it. I was just highlighting on what 504 girl said. She could finish with her statistics. This was basically her show. Go ahead,
Okay,
Sticky.
I'll just give a few more stats about the South, and then I'll run through a few things about stigmatizing language. Not a lot, just the main things that people tend to say versus what you should say. So from 2019, data showed more than half, 51% of HIV diagnoses occurred in people living in the South, even though only 38% of the U.S. population lives in that region. So 8 out of the 10 southern states and 9 out of 10 metropolitan areas have the highest rates of new HIV diagnoses in the South. And again, that goes from, like I said before, that goes from housing, that goes from, lack of jobs, lack of stability, money, interpartner violence, um, just living in the communities that we live in where we don't have as much access to things as some of our other counterparts living within the United States. So I'm going to just do a little quick rundown of a few things that you should or should not say when it comes down to stigmatizing language. Stop it.
And we
You
can
don't,
also do a part two. So go ahead, girl. Okay.
you don't say you don't say HIV infected person. You don't say HIV patient or AIDS patient. You don't say positives or HIVers or an AIDS or HIV carrier We are people living with HIV. You don't say that they died of AIDS. People pass away from AIDS related complications or end stage HIV. You don't say full blown AIDS anymore, is HIV stage 3. You don't say became infected, we contracted, acquired, or diagnosed. You don't say unprotected sex, you say condomless sex, or sex not protected by condoms or antiretroviral prevention methods. You don't say mother to child transmission, you say vertical transmission. Victim, sufferer, contaminated, infected. You don't use those words. You use person living with HIV. Never use the word infected. We are survivors. We're thriving. We're living. We're happy. You don't say to catch AIDS. You say AIDS diagnosis or develop AIDS due to HIV complications. You don't say prostitute or prostitution. They're sex workers, sale of sexual services, or transactional sex. HIV is not a death sentence anymore. HIV, chronic health condition, manageable health condition. You don't say tainted blood or dirty needles. Is blood containing HIV, or what Madiva said, shared needles. And the last thing that I can say is most definitely get tested, get educated, and know your status. Thank you, Madiva, so much for this opportunity. If y'all have any questions or any concerns, can you drop them in the comment section after this video is ended? And if we need to do a part 2 to this, we will definitely do a part 2. Oh, and there's one more thing that I need to add. When you look at me as a heavy woman, a big, beautiful, bold woman,
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
the last thing that you can say about me is that I'm one of the biggest people with HIV in this world. When you look back in history of people who have been diagnosed with HIV and AIDS before we got to the medications that we have now, and the way that those people were wasting away, and the way that those people were looking sick because they did not have access to the care that I have now, and they did not have access to the care that the future generations may have. The fact that I am the size that I am, considering I've been a big girl my entire life, shows I am healthy.
Amen.
I'm not dying in 5 years.
Amen. Amen.
I'm 17 years in, and I have a lot more to go. My story is not over yet.
Yes.
My chapters keep writing themselves.
That's right.
And that's out to the ignorant, uneducated people who are out here trying to spread false narratives about people living with HIV. Thank you, sister. I appreciate you so much.
And we on
Love
that
you,
note,
sister. You did a great job.
I'm sorry, darling. What'd you say?
I said I was talking to 504. I said, love you, sister. You did a great job.
Right, and I just want to say to
Love you too, sisters.
very positive note, the key word is she's living, not dying. She's living. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. Again, the best way to help anyone that is has been diagnosed, that is living with this, understand it is not a death sentence. No, I don't know what it is to go through the trials and tribulations that my sister 504 has had to endure and will endure, moving forward, or even what my mother went through. But just a little story I share with you. My mother had no qualm about taking accountability for her, because she knew exactly how she contracted it. Some people don't. It's others that have low self-worth, and don't care about human life, that they would go and have unprotected sex, or would be infected, and not share this information with their partners, because they wouldn't know what love is if it hit them in the face. But at the end of the day, the key word is living with HIV. And understand, it's like when you throw those rocks, when you have misinformation, or if you judge someone. I remember, and then, you know what, I'm not even going to share that, because there's too many evil people on YouTube. For my people, hey, it'll be a story that we'll tell when we get together, be it here on this earth plane or in heaven, whatever that may be to you. But
Yes,
we will
Lord.
meet again. But I will tell you this: be careful in the words that you're using to arm your tongue, to slaying others because of their what you consider a misfortune. You don't know what this could, like, someone having a diagnosis probably is a blessing. You don't know. They're not dying like that. I remember that little boy Ryan. Y'all know who I'm talking about, little Ryan. Ryan is
Yeah.
gone. He's gone to glory. But had they had the knowledge of the medication and the life skills through people like 504 and the women that she advocate for, if it wasn't for those women that stand 10 toes down and do the right thing and educate people, even regardless if they are one that is stricken with this disease, at the end of the day, they are making a difference because they are teaching. Okay, they're teaching people that having HIV or having AIDS is no longer a death sentence. So salute to Ryan, who rests at the right seat of God. And that's where I choose to believe that he is. Okay. But be mindful of the hateful things that you say, and understand you ain't hurting those that have the diagnosis, that understand it and are living with it. You're only hurting yourself because of your misinformation, your
Your
misunderstanding.
ignorance and your
Ignorance.
miseducation.
Ignorance definitely ain't bliss. But anyway, we got to get over to Lady Laws. I want to, salute to the neighbors that showed up. Hey, Tracy, baby. Hey, y'all know I am doing full blown business things, but I am going to be popping back up on social media, YouTube and Big O, and also to let you know this channel. I know y'all done seen some things that are being posted. Yes, 504 has total access to the neighborhood as well as me and myself. So we're trying to get back in and stuff like that. And just be mindful of exactly what you're engaging in. Like you can't drag everything. Okay, everything ain't cool to drag. But it's wait, it's AIDS Awareness Day and stuff like that, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna keep it moving. I have all night. I'm gonna be on some panels if I'm welcome or whatever, but I'll be in the chat. But I am giving this time. I'm dedicating my time to my sister 504. She is big, beautiful HIV survivor, baby. So get with it or get lost, honey. And y'all know Thank you, Sister Mary Clarence, baby. Hello, hello, darling. All right. So here's the
I
thing.
can't,
Get
I
with it
can't,
and get along. Piece of chicken grease. Because Madiva got to go. I love you guys.
Madiva post pin the Get Tested CDC.org website. You can
Where
go
it's
on
going.
there
Got it,
and
got it.
you can go there and look up your state and see where you can go and get tested. Testing sites are available, they are free. Or make sure you request an HIV screening panel with your blood work.
Mhm.
Like I said, we can go more in depth about this at
We
any
will.
time.
We definitely
If you
will.
have any specific questions around HIV or a particular topic dealing with
Yes.
HIV that you have questions on, please make sure that you drop those in the comments section
Absolutely.
after this video is over, and we will most definitely set up something and do this again because my main goal, which has always been my goal since I joined Positive Women's Network USA, over
Good.
300,000 positive women
Women.
strong.
Try
Women,
some of it. Try some of that
women of all
positivity.
nationalities,
That's
primarily
right.
black and brown women, but women of all
Right.
nationalities to live stigma free,
That's right.
dignified lives
Even by our own. That's right.
through
Yeah.
education and through changing policies within the United States. So
Amen.
again, drop those questions after this video and I will most definitely
Let's
answer
do
those
it.
questions, or we will set up another live where
I
we can do
will.
a Q&A. Just make sure y'all drop those questions in the chat. Thank you
That's
again, Madiva. Thank you,
you're
Niche. I
welcome.
love you, my sisters. Thank you, everybody, for coming
I
through.
love you.
I love
Love
you
you
all.
too,
3
Cootie.
years. Well, we're going on 4 years or something like that. I love you guys so much. Thank you. I appreciate y'all so much. Anytime, this channel's here for us to do something that's going to help the next woman or man, and understand it's not a death sentence. We got your back. Okay. So, there's advocates out there that can teach you. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to walk this walk alone. And I feel like if my mother felt that she had to do this alone, she would have died a long time ago. Okay. And
And
salute
we're
to you.
always looking for allies in this fight. Niche,
Amen.
Medeva are allies in this fight. La, Auntie Miracle,
Of course, I'm
Candy,
an
Call
ally.
me up, girl.
Always.
I'm a soldier. Hey, call me.
are allies in this
Major.
fight. You do not have to be a person living with HIV to be an ally in this
That's
fight.
right. That's right. All right, let's get on over to Lady Not Live, Lady Laws
Good
Live.
night,
I'll
everyone.
be in the chat. I love you, Mish. I love you, 504, and for all of you guys that came
Not
in
a
so much. We love you. Okay. And for those out there, regardless, you don't have to let everybody know it's your business. But at the end of the day, you don't have to walk this walk alone. Okay. And information and education on living with this and those that you love that, have it, guess what? You can teach them, it'll make today, not such a bad day for them, and tomorrow's gonna be even better. I am out. Peace and chicken grease. Don't take no wooden nickels, cause your ass can't spend them. And I hope y'all enjoy seeing my little Cole and my new kitty cat. Her name is Nilla Bean. Yeah, I am 5 deep in my animals. I love you guys observing stuff. Love you guys. I'll be back on real quick. I definitely will be back on, y'all. See a lot of me this month. All right. Peace.